Hi everyone, I'm Jem. As Sam has very helpfully introduced, I work as the Widening Participation Officer for Mature Students at the University of East Anglia. That's basically quite a fancy way of saying that my life cycle role supports students that are considering starting an access course right through to completing one and progressing into university. For those students who do choose UEA, they are stuck with me throughout their time as a current student as well. My session here this afternoon even, is to talk about preparing for university and a few other considerations to sort of help set you off on the best foot forward. So initially, I just really wanted to point out that it's perfectly normal and very, very reasonable to have questions and concerns. So this talk's going to look at some transition ideas and things to think about as you approach the start of the academic year if you're planning on starting university either this year or in coming years. Now, a lot of us who offer degree programs will have our own mechanisms to support students progressing into university, and the information provided here is true for many universities. But obviously I'm using the one that I know best, the one that employs me, which is the University of East Anglia, which is, funnily enough, where I studied myself as a mature student. So I've already mentioned that as part of my role, I support the transition of mature students. So I provide information, signpost to helpful resources to help students discover what's possible and to help find answers to any specific questions people may well have, or just to essentially empower you to have the confidence to direct your questions to any institutions that you've applied for. Would you mind clicking onto the next screen, please, Sam? So one sort of flagship thing that we've established at the University of East Anglia is something called a Mooc, which stands for Massive Open Online Course. Now, a lot of these are available through the FutureLearn platform, and this is one that the UEA has actually written and is well regarded by a lot of students who are transitioning into university. It's a free resource, which means that it's completely free for students who are thinking about going to university to sign up and complete, and they run it at various points throughout the year. As I mentioned before, like with my role, I'm impartial, meaning that I'll support people on their journey to any university, not just UEA. So don't let the UEA logo throw you off there. Our academic teams have worked really, really hard in putting all the information together on this Mooc to help you understand what things look like lectures and workshops, and essentially just let you practice a few skills to help you get the most out of your degree. Now, some of those skills might be things like time management, looking at texts and being able to sort of critically analyse them. And many of you studying on your access courses at the moment will be currently practising these things day in, day out on your courses. So this will beautifully complement any of the skills that you're currently being taught as well. Can you please move on to the next slide? The other thing that we really recommend doing as you're approaching the start of a degree course or any new course in the coming years, we recommend visiting the universities or institutions you have an interest in. You can do this usually through attending open days or applicant days. So before you apply, you can attend open days. I know we've got a couple planned over October and November, but many universities will have information on their own websites about events aimed at students. Once you've made applications to universities, you may well be invited back for further insight in the form of an applicant day, which provides that hands-on experience in the form of a workshop. It provides you the opportunity to ask students and academics questions and just really helps you to understand what facilities are available to you. These sorts of events will also highlight the services available from universities as well, which is something that your fees will pay toward. So it's also good practice whilst you're in the preparation and transition stage to really get a good idea of the types of things that you can benefit from as a student within that institution. Now, other things that universities may offer are things like online talks, webinars and that type of thing. So again, if you're looking at particular insight into subjects to help you choose, then this is a fantastic way of gaining that particular insight. Now, just a quick note about accommodation. I know that many students will consider travelling into university or commuting into university, which is absolutely fine. A lot of people do, myself included. But if you're looking at a university accommodation, open days and applicant days can also show you a range of options available and give you the option of chatting to people within the teams too. So for example, if you're a mature student and that's concerning you, then ultimately you can have a chat with the accommodation teams and see what options are available to you. Now, over the last 18 months, obviously a lot of the in-person stuff that we've all become quite used to had been switched to online provision because of COVID. So we've developed quite a lot in the way of resource. At UEA, we've been offering webinars to show the range of opportunities and services to mature students and give participants the option to ask current students questions and ask them things about their specific experiences as well. Alongside this, there have been a range of recorded talks and subject-specific taster sessions, accommodation videos, and information about our facilities as well. So again, it's worth checking these out on the websites of any institutions you're considering to see if there's any other ways that you can prepare for your experience. Can you switch on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So I just wanted to say here that as you transition into your course, many of you may be really keen on getting the ball rolling with starting your university journey. So for example, you might be interested in seeing what key documents you may need to read as part of your course, or you might have questions about where you can find information to help you prepare. Now, whilst you wait for the start of the academic year, you may wish to keep an eye on your emails, as universities and course providers will be in touch with any information relevant to your enrolment and potentially invite you to do things such as take an online course or read some information or articles. If you don't receive any of these sorts of instructions outside of enrolment, this will often mean that there's no expectation for you to prepare ahead of the lesson starting. But again, if that is something that doesn't sit comfortably with you, then the pre-university Mooc that we've already mentioned might be a nice thing to do in the interim. Now, you may wonder how you will know what to expect from the way that universities teach and how this may differ from the sort of teaching you may have experienced in the past. So again, keeping an eye on the communications being sent out to you will provide you with the sort of mechanisms the universities are offering you in terms of support and helping you settle in. As I've said already, the talks and sessions that they're running, either online or in person, will provide you with some further insight there. So if you do have the opportunity to attend any applicant days or open day events, then please do. Obviously, you get to tour the facilities and speak to those people that you can ask all important questions to and get a feel for what you will be doing. Can I have the next slide, please, Sam? Now, we've put together some resources. So as I've mentioned already, it's worth staying up to date with communications from the university because this will sort of essentially give you sort of a step-by-step plan of what to expect before you join. The volume of communications will usually increase on the run-up to the start of the year. So it will include typically information about enrolment or registration, any welcome events or provision that's been put in place to help you find your feet when you start on your course. Some universities offer specific transition support. So we offer, for example, for students that are studying on access to higher education, we offer a transition program where students are mentored by current students and then enrolled into our buddy scheme. We also have a transition event called Head Start, for example, where students come in to campus just before starting on their course and get that real first-hand insight and ability to ask any questions before they find themselves on their main course. We also suggest putting some time aside to make sure that you can keep abreast of any of these recommendations and ask any questions that you need to. So as you start your academic year, you can feel confident that you've put the best foot forward. Now, with this particular slide here, I'm referencing our resource centre, which is quite a large online hub of videos, workbooks, information, and much more. It will highlight how you can contact me, which my next slide will do in a moment. But I just wanted to let you know that ultimately this is a free place that you can go for information, should you have any questions about ways to prepare, other people's experiences or otherwise. Next slide, please, Sam. Excellent. So drawing to the end of this talk, obviously I'm very happy to help anyone who has questions. So if you have got anything that you would like to ask me, whether it's relevant to UEA or otherwise, you can pretty much ask anything about university and I'll do my very best to answer you or put you in touch with somebody who can. Now, we have various mechanisms to help you contact me. We have the Unibuddy site through our Ask Us platform, which you can find on the UEA website under Ask Us. Now, I have my own profile, which you can see screenshotted on the front there. However, you can ask questions to any member of staff, including our academic teams as well. I do have a dedicated email address, which is maturestudents@uea.ac.uk. You can find this on our website as well. So if you Google UEA Mature Students, you will hopefully find my website at the top of the listings there, which highlights, again, how to contact me or how to book in an individual support session to ask any questions directly to me. And as I've mentioned, those individual support sessions, they're for anyone, so don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions at all. Again, very, very happy to help. So that's me, really. Hopefully that's provided you with some insight into ways to prepare or things to look out for as you approach the start of the academic year. But my main tip for you is to just not worry. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. And just keep an eye on your emails, really. They will provide you with full insight into anything that you may need to do to prepare. Now, I think that's my 15 minutes up, so I'll hand back to Sam. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that, Jem. I've just seen a question come up in the comments, actually. This is from Paige, who asks, are there any social groups for mature students at your uni?
Yes, so we have a peer support network for mature students. We have about 258 clubs and societies, and obviously sports clubs, I think there are around 50 of those, and the rest are societies, which are mostly based on interest. Our clubs and societies committees all have training to ensure that they're inclusive, and you'll find that we have a massive mature student community involved in a range of different clubs and societies across the whole board. Obviously, some more popular than others. For example, archery and yoga are remarkably popular with our mature students. But the peer support group is the main one, really, that I think a lot of mature students will levitate toward, purely because they are there to support one another. And there is a Facebook forum that corresponds with the group as well to provide that sort of peer-led support. I mean, I like to organise lots of events throughout the academic year, which brings a whole community of mature students together. Most recently, we had around 150 people engage with us over Welcome Week, which was fantastic because people from across the whole university were able to come together and meet up and talk about their courses, any problems that they have, and support each other on a peer-led basis, enabling me to pick up any particular areas of concern and answer those specifically. The beauty of that group is that they do organise things off their own back as well. So next Friday, for example, some of those mature students are going out with each other. I think there's about a group of 30 of them going out on a night out after work next Friday. So yeah, it's been really, really nice, actually. So that's what I would suggest doing. Even at your university that you're thinking about applying to, or UEA, is just look at the clubs and societies, and usually you can find information about the support groups and the sort of networks that they have available for any particular groups that you're interested in through the student union pages.
So I'm Amy Grant. I'm from the University of Suffolk, and I am a disability and wellbeing advisor. So what I'm going to do today is kind of take you through a whistle-stop tour of what a typical disability and wellbeing advisor might do, how they can support your studies, and support you while you're at university studying in HE. Disability and Wellbeing Advisors will be placed in all HE institutions, and we're there to support you with your studies. So the things that we can primarily support with is so DSA applications, so that's Disabled Students Allowance, and that's a funding body that you can apply for if you have any learning needs like dyslexia, dyspraxia, mental health needs, long-term health conditions, and they can assess you on what sort of extra support can be put in place. So these can be along the lines of, say, voice recorders or assistive technology on your laptop to help you study, as well as reasonable adjustments being put in place within the university. So there'll be things such as extensions, applications to extensions, getting your handout notes before the lectures so you've got time to read through, as well as maybe extra time in exams, or a separate room for exams, as well as note takers as an example, or study support assistants. So these are all things that can be put in place once you've seen a disability and wellbeing advisor and gone through the process of DSA and getting a needs assessment report. So other things we also help with is primarily, like I said, we're there for the wellbeing support of the students. So amongst my team, we have mental health advisors. So they can do assessments with you to find out what sort of support would be helpful, and have things like mentoring sessions and mental health support throughout your time at uni. Other people that we have within our directorate are things like study support assistants. Within the library, there's plenty of people who help with referencing, writing materials, and planning your time. So there's plenty of support always available at university, as and when you need it, to be able to help you with your studies. And I think that is a whistle-stop tour of the different things that we do within our team. We support on university mental health days. Other examples of things that we do are relaxed inductions. So quite often for students who may have anxiety or specific learning needs, can come to an induction into university, which is more a smaller group and more specialised, giving a brief overview of the stuff that the team can offer, and kind of in a more relaxed environment, as inductions can be a lot of people and sometimes quite overwhelming. But the best thing to know is that there's always someone there to help, and you just need to ask for it and to be able to access it. We quite often suggest that if you're applying to university, that your DSA applications go in quite early, because these will be able to get the ball rolling as soon as you commence your course. And quite often they'll ask for evidence to be provided. So the earlier you can provide that, the easier it will be to get in place, and the better advisor can support you when you start university. So without my presentation, that was very whistle stop. I, as Sam said, will get it sent round afterwards, but if there's any questions, then I'm happy to go ahead and answer.
Oh, there we go. Lovely. Thank you very much for that, Amy. I've just seen a question that's come through. This is Paige again, actually. How do you do a DSA application?
Cool. So this is something that so admissions can help you with at your chosen university. But the DSA application is through an online portal, a link of which will be in the presentation that will be sent round. And that kind of gives you some guidance on what sort of material you need to provide. But like I said, a lot of it's evidence-based. So say if you've got a long-term health condition, that will most likely be in the form of medical letters, as well as mental health needs or specific learning needs. You will have had a assessment or some kind of paper trail of that if that's something you've had done in the past. Another thing that's quite useful within the team is we have people who can assess your needs. So we quite often have students come to us and say, I'm not sure, but I think I might have dyslexia or dyspraxia or a specific learning need. And we can go through a quick screen adult questionnaire with them, and that will be able to flag if there's potentially any learning difficulties. And then from that, we can get them through a full diagnostic assessment at a subsidised cost to be able to have that paper trail for your DSA assessment and to be able to get that further continued support.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Carpenter, as you can see on the screen. So just to introduce myself briefly, I'm the Head of Careers, Employability and Enterprise at the University of Suffolk. I've mentioned it on the slide as well if you can see it, but I did also graduate from the University of Suffolk number of years ago, worked there for a bit, worked in other universities in the area, and then have come back to work there now, most recently to lead this careers, employability and enterprise team. So I'm just going to go through in the presentation some of the things that we do, but the caveat to that is obviously that virtually every university in the UK, no matter where you apply, will offer some type of support that's very similar to this. Obviously, it can differ slightly depending on the size of the university, the structure of the teams, lots of different factors, but the core of what we offer you should find at every university ultimately. So let me click through. Here on the slide, just a nice summary of the ways that particularly my team can help. As I say, you will find a really similar level of service, I would imagine, throughout the university sector in the UK. The core things of what we do, we can help you with your CV, your interview prep, LinkedIn profiles to apply for further study if you wanted to pursue postgraduate study in the longer term. We also can help you with business startup and enterprise. Now, I appreciate for a number of you that your access course might be a career change as well. So we're very much here to help with that type of thing. I know I've got lots of students in the past who've worked perhaps in the same industry for a number of years, have now gone on to do additional qualifications onto a degree, and sometimes struggle to really think about how to structure it on an application and make sure that they're really selling themselves ultimately and all of the amazing skills, qualities, experiences that they've had from the past and are gaining through their degree. Even if your prior career and experience perhaps was in IT, and then you're now looking to pursue nursing through a degree course, there's lots of things that you will have gained through your IT roles and prior studies that can be really beneficial to an application to both a nursing degree and then a nursing job in the future. We also do a lot of events. Universities, again, one of the core things that we will always do is to find ways to bring in organisations, different employers, alumni to meet with you as students, because how can you necessarily know what you want to do with your degree? Like I say, you might be thinking, okay, I want to be a nurse, and that's great. If the course that you are studying is a bit broader, perhaps something like psychology, which arguably could help you go and start a new career in multiple different industries and sectors, we will bring in a lot of different organisations and things just to help you consider different options, help you reflect on what might be of interest to you, what matches your values, what matches your skill sets, what matches the other commitments you might have in your life, because particularly for us at Suffolk, a high proportion of our students are mature and live locally, often within sort of Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex. Obviously, we have students come from elsewhere, most definitely, but a number are within the East Anglian region. So we're also quite conscious to make sure that we bring in organisations that are able to, as far as possible, offer you opportunities that are accessible to you, because I know, you know, it can be very difficult to have to uproot and move to a new location to start a new job. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we are here to support, you know, all of our students and all of their different needs ultimately. The other thing that we've moved into more and more in recent years is to support people who might want to start businesses or go freelance, because my key thing that I will always say is that careers are not linear anymore. We will have multiple different jobs, career paths within our lifetimes. Things will change depending on personal circumstances, depending on external situations. You know, I know lots of people who, as a result of the last couple of years with COVID, have decided to make massive changes to their lives in various different ways. So my team also offers support on helping people who maybe want to take an idea and turn it into a product, a service, or go freelance. And often, you know, the thing I will say there again is that these business ideas do not have to be related to your degree. Nursing is a perfect example. You know, that your day job, you do your degree, then go into nursing, but then you might have a really good idea, and in the evenings you try and work on a small business idea. Could be, you know, baking. That's my thing. I'd love to open a small baking business on the side of the day job. You know, could be arts, graphic design, photography, engineering, mechanics, technology. I don't know, the options are endless. But yeah, we're here to support on all sides of these things ultimately. Here on the slide, you can see just a few examples of different ways you maybe could get involved within your university community. In the earlier presentation, particularly from Jem from UBA, she mentioned around societies. There's lots of different things. As I say, every university, it will differ depending on what the student community has decided to start with societies. At Suffolk, you know, if the society that you want to be involved with isn't there, try and start one. You know, they are so keen in the Students' Union to increase society numbers and the types of societies that exist. So, you know, if you've got an idea for a society, it's definitely worth trying to pursue and see if you can get it launched and potentially, you know, meet other like-minded people with similar interests. There's lots of other things that you can get involved with. And again, I know that particularly if you already have employment, so you may be starting a degree, or if you're thinking about a degree and you already have a part-time, full-time job potentially that you would need to keep, caring responsibilities as well, lots of other different factors that can impact us as individuals. So we always make sure, and I'm sure most other universities will do this as well, that we do have opportunities that are accessible to all, regardless of those external factors. And courses as well will increasingly have opportunities embedded within the degree as well. So they may bring people in to the course as part of lectures so that they can be real life people working in industry, be able to set you problems that you can solve as part of your degree. You know, what a fantastic way. You spend a few weeks learning the theories, then you get to solve a problem that contributes to a real world situation by applying those theories. Fantastic way to learn, and something that at Suffolk we're doing more and more of within degrees, and again, most universities are as well. So yeah, there's lots of different ways for people to get involved, paid things, volunteering. The opportunities are endless, ultimately. Again, this is an example of one scheme that we've launched at Suffolk over the last few years. It has got bigger and bigger and more popular year on year. Most universities do run something similar. It's worth looking out for these types of schemes. So our microplacement scheme offers students the opportunity to work for 30 hours. So the 30 hours can happen quite flexibly, potentially 1 to 2 hours a week, to make sure that it is accessible to people as far as is possible around other commitments. But yeah, that's just one example. We've got big careers fair activity coming up. Conventionally in the past, we would have had a careers fair and had like 40, 50 organisations all come in. You'd go around and talk to them. They'd be from all different industries and sectors. Obviously now, things are slightly different with COVID and just making sure that it is safe and is accessible to everyone, regardless of whether they're on campus, if they're isolating, if they're unable to be in spaces, confined spaces with large numbers of people. I just want to make sure that our events are accessible to everyone. So this year we've launched a festival, which will be 8 days of activities, different organisations coming onto campus, running virtual activities. But yeah, so again, every university will offer things like this in various different ways. So it's really worth looking out for them and getting involved with them. They're there for you to access to benefit you ultimately. So yeah, make the most of it. I don't know why my slideshow won't click to the next slide now. How strange. There we go. Awesome. So very last thing I just wanted to share with you. Again, this is something that we do at Suffolk. Again, most of the universities offer a similar level of support, but we also have a fantastically large online platform that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you are looking at universities, it's always worth looking at both the opportunities to interact with different organisations and alumni, but also have a look at the systems and things that are available to you, because you know, Future Me, our platform, no matter where you are in the world, like I always laugh to students, if it's 2 a.m. when me and my team are in bed, you can still go and have a look at this. It's got things like a CV builder, so you can rewrite your CV, a mock interview tool, so you can record yourself, like, you know, sitting in your office, your bedroom, your living room, your car, wherever it may be. And then you can watch it back and see how you got on within your interview. There's a job board in there. There's tons of like self-assessment tools if you want to see what are my values, what type of person am I. There's just so much in there. So whichever university you do think about applying for, again, explore the different areas and different ways that they can support you, both through direct human support, but also these self-directed activities. And then as part of that, we have a Future Me award. So this is a 5-stage programme. It's designed to run alongside your degree, so we wouldn't expect someone to complete it all in their first year. But, you know, we would recommend that people maybe do 1 or 2 sections per year, so that by the time they get to their final year, they're able to submit the reflection and have hopefully not only gained a degree, but have also undertaken some fantastic time, taken some time to self-reflect, explore who they are, what they might want to do, what type of person they are, how they make decisions, how to find opportunities. And again, you know, thinking of nursing, because it's a perfect example, you might know that you definitely want to go into nursing, you're doing the nursing degree and will apply for a nursing job. But this type of award will still be really beneficial because it just helps you to explore yourself, think about your future career in a bit more detail, and yeah, just set you up really well to succeed and hopefully wherever it is that you go after your degree. So yeah, I just want to say good luck as well from us, because as you know, I'm a careers advisor obviously now I'm the head of careers, so I'm more of a manager than a careers advisor, but you know, I'm a careers advisor by training, and the core of what I want to do is, yeah, make sure that you will achieve your goals as far as you can, be successful, and yeah, get to where you want to be, hopefully. So you can contact us, social media, email us, and I noticed a question in the chat box as well, which I'll just answer as I'm talking. Within our team, we currently support students for 3 years after they graduate. So we can have a brief chat with you when you're an applicant. So if you apply for the university, we've actually got an open event tomorrow, which I'm at. So if you are coming to the open event tomorrow, come and say hi. I'll be there. I'll be doing a similar talk as well. But yeah, so you can book in for a brief chat when you're an applicant, but then we'll support you throughout the whole of your degree and then for at least 3 years afterwards as well. Some universities will offer lifetime support. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to offer that soon. We're quite a small team at the minute, so I want to make sure that we can help people as best we can. But yeah, hopefully it'll be for much longer. Let me just check. So yeah, but no, definitely we will help you as a graduate. You will, you know, when you finish your degree in the May, June, whenever it may be, you can still very much come and see us. And now with COVID, it's really improved our ability to support people remotely. So we do all of our appointments through Microsoft Teams still. So again, no matter where you're based or if you're at work, family commitments, things like that, you know, we are still very much accessible and here to help you. Yeah, the other question, do you do work experience for each course? So most courses will have something embedded within it, but it's not always traditional placements, because we know that doesn't necessarily work for everyone. So that's where we're increasing the amount of opportunities to work on live briefs through assignments and projects like that. So some courses will have mandatory placements, others will have optional, and then others will do slightly different things where, for example, in our English degree, they have something called Talking Shop, where I think it's almost every week, but pretty regularly, they'll bring in someone from industry to meet students, and sometimes it's a graduate, really diverse, you know, journalism, poetry, novels, media, PR, all sorts of great people. So yeah, which is really great and just gives you some exposure to some really different opportunities and career paths. And yeah, open day tomorrow starts at 9:30, runs until 2:30, I think. It's on the waterfront campus in Ipswich in the waterfront building. So even if you haven't registered, that's fine. You can still turn up. But yes, it starts at 9:30, but the welcome talk will run it is being repeated slightly later in the morning as well. So yeah, we'll be there. Come and see us. I'll be there as well. Come and say hello if you are coming along or if you're thinking about it. Okay, that's everything from me. If there's any other questions as well.
That's fantastic, Amy. Thank you so much.